let's welcome Tanay Bagheria. Like Tanay is working as an industrial trainee in BCG. He was previously doing his articleship from KPMG into deal advisory, and he is the CA intermediate all India ranker 2 as well. And he has also cleared CFA L1, L2 with 90 plus percentile, as I can see. So that's really a great feat, Tanay, that you have achieved, and it's really
Thank you so
inspiring
much,
to
Rashmi.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Like along with the internship, articleship, BCG, KPMG, and like CA, you have managed CFA as well. So like really a hats off to you, man. I'm helping this
Well, that's
session.
saying a lot, Srishti, but thank you so much.
With Anna. So like without
Yeah,
wasting more of the time, let's move on to the questions. So the first question that I
sure.
want to pose to you is like, what made you understand like management consulting is your calling and you have to go in this particular domain today with industrial training?
Okay, the patent question which any
Yeah.
person would ask to anybody joining any industrial training. So
Right.
to answer that question, well, from the very beginning, like academically, I had been proficient since the school times. I'll just take you through the history a little bit. Won't bore you guys. But originally, I was willing to take science, but then post 10th, I realized that no, not science, but commerce. Post that, I decided to do something related to numbers because numbers are something that excites me a lot. But at that time, when I was trying to explore fields, there were certain fields that excited me even more, along with like other than numbers. Two of them were management consultancy and something related to project management, which is essentially again advisory only. So since then, I had always wanted to, try something out in this field. So, but then that idea became a backdrop only because then started with CA, started with CFA. Initially, I was not even aware that PCG does hire industrial trainees. So that was never a motive as such. The target originally was going for some finance related role rather, and that sufficiently justifying why I'm doing CFA also. But when I got to know that BCG is hiring industrial trainees, like BCG, out of all the big three consulting firms, it is only BCG who is hiring industrial trainees. And it being something that I always wanted to try since the time that I was supposed to choose a field post 10 standard. So I was like, why not give it a shot? And at that point in time, I just felt like if given an opportunity to work on two paths right now, those two would be something related to numbers and finance, that maybe IB, PE, such roles, or something related to consultancy. The two names that come to your mind is uh, either BCG when it comes to consulting, and when it comes to IBP, VC, there are various firms which offer multiple roles. But there was a dichotomy which I faced, and at that point in time, BCG was the one which started hiring earlier. So as I got into it, I just felt like this is the right place. That is an internal instinct and calling that comes at that point in time. That if this was something that you always wanted to try, and if this has come to you, then it also means that it is not just you yourself calling you, but it was also the universe saying that yes, go for it. So at that point in time, I realized that definitely, since I wanted to try it, because always, you know what, advising, yani gyan dena, what we call popularly,
Hmm.
so has been a passion for almost all. But I always felt like there are certain things when it comes to business that I feel on a personal level can be done differently, whether because I have seen businesses all my life. My family has always been into businesses. My father, my grandfather, my uncle, my maternal side family also. So I've always been like, yaar, aap ye aise kyun karte ho? You should be doing this way. So at that point in time, also I realized that there should be some way of formalizing it. Let's try this, and that is when I decided that yes, let's go for it.
Okay, so you had that yahi hai wo wala moment with management consulting and BCG, like if I can say
Correct.
in short. Okay.
True.
Now, Tanay, like, what does your work looks like exactly? Can you give us an example and portray about it?
Okay. So when it comes to management consulting, it is very subjective because it depends a lot on what case you are staffed upon. So what happens over here is that there could be multiple types of cases and multiple types of clients. So there are two
Hmm.
factors which determine that what kind of work you will be doing. The two factors are, one is the industry, that is the kind of company in which you are staffed, and the other is the case, that is what type of work the client wants you to get done. So there are basically, like, if I categorized into a few verticals. There are three, four kinds of jobs that are usually done by management consultants. One will be related to profit maximization, that is increasing the profits for the company by either uh, ensuring that their revenues are boosted up or by ensuring that the costs are reduced. It could either be a market entry related advisory, that is how do we enter a new market. It could be something related to growth, that how do we expand in the same markets, maybe new products, new product developments, or maybe just new market expansion with the existing products, or maybe how do we enter into a merger or any kind of transaction with other companies or something like that. So these are the 4 or 5 major things that we as management consultants might be doing. So it depends a lot that what kind of a case you have been allocated upon. Like the case, and there are another vertical of cases which are called unconventionals. So right now I'm more of on an unconventional case wherein I'm not doing either of them. I can't be describing a lot about my work, that what exactly I do, but it is more of related to changing the operating model of the client. So ideally, the day looks like we begin with client meetings, we end with client meetings, and during the day, all we do is client meetings. Yes, the popular notion that we keep preparing decks, we keep preparing models is not untrue. It is very true. Slides are a part and parcel of management consultancy. Excels are a part and parcel of management consultancy. But the biggest thing that we do, which I should be emphasizing a lot about, is brainstorming, because in many roles you will find that all you have to do is redundant work. You have a process, you have a certain methodology, a modus operandi that you need to follow. But like in management consultancy particularly, there is no modus operandi, there is no methodology. Everything that happens is raw. Every ideation is raw. It starts right from the scratch. There is complete brainstorming going on. If you enter into the room while all of us are discussing, you'll just feel that, are you guys fighting? Like, that is the scenario that develops right inside the discussion room, because everybody has a point of view. And that is the best and the most beautiful part about consultancy and about the entire day. That at the end of the day, you will feel worth it because you utilize your brain, you gave your suggestions, and you had a point of view. So if I would want to summarize in one line, that what we do is that we ideate from the scratch, we create from the scratch, we develop from the scratch. So that is something how the day looks like.
Okay, then it was quite a detail. Like the next question is about even when I was finding my industrial training, like me and many of the friends of mine, or almost everyone has that dream. Okay, like it's very nice if we get into BCG. So I want to like ask you, like, what's the entire process like from resume shortlisting, interview, and is it really true that only rankers like get hired into BCG? So this is a tough question that we have been receiving since we posted that you are coming into the session. So I want you to guide about it.
So that is a question even I have been answering for like quite some time now. So to begin with the process, no, let me begin with the, okay, no, I'll go with the mythbuster later on, but let me begin with the process only. To begin with the process, the first stage, as you mentioned correctly, is the resume shortlisting. There are certain cycles of BCG. So at BCG, there originally used to be 2 cycles. As of now, they are continuing with the 2 cycle phase only, despite intermediate students having 3 attempts. So right now, they have not decided whether they'll go for 3 cycles or not, but there are two 6 monthly cycles. There is a open post which is made for resume shortlisting. They have their own format for resume, which is attached in the invitation post only. You need to, draft your resume according to their format, give it to them. The process takes approximately 10 to 15 days. After the resume shortlisting is closed, in the next 10 days, there is results for that. Approximately 15 to 20 candidates ideally get selected. The resume gets shortlisted. Post that, there is an entire lead time of approximately 25 days, wherein they provide you a buddy from BCG only, who trains you, who guides you, who solves cases with you. Because ideally at BCG or at any management consulting firm, the interviews, how do they look like, is just case-based interviews. That is all we have. So ideally in those 20-25 days, what happens is you are being prepared for those case interviews. You prepare internally amongst the cohort with other candidates. You prepare with the buddy who has been allocated to you. So the preparation stage goes up. Then comes the interview day. There's a single day the interviews happen, 2 to 3 rounds. Post that, Ideally, 5 to 10, 5 to 7 candidates, whoever they find suitable, they get selected. Now, when I talk about the biggest factor that you asked about, that whether rankers are the only ones who get into BCG, this is completely a false statement. And I have great arguments, fact-based arguments to prove that it is absolutely wrong. Uh, Not taking names, you can also find on LinkedIn various people who are non-rankers, and despite they are into BCG as industrial trainees. The first fact. The second fact is that how they look upon the resume while shortlisting. If I reveal this, everybody will trust me then that it is definitely not just rankers who can get into BCG. There are three things that they look upon. The first and foremost is definitely academics. But in academics, it is not just rank that they may look upon. Even if you have good academic history, you have a graduation from a good college. It can be any of the campuses of Delhi University, Mumbai University, Nursing Monji, any good college. It could be any good college, or it could be any additional course that you are pursuing, whether it be CS, it could be CFA. So you can get shortlisted on the basis of academics, even if you have qualified any of the three criteria of academics. The second thing that they look upon is articleship experience. In that case, they definitely prefer Big Four, Big Six candidates. But there are people who have gotten into BCG even after not having a Big Four or a Big Six. Well, then what is it that matters the most are the large segments that are positions of responsibility and extracurricular activities. So you need to be involved as much as possible in each and everything that excites you, apart from academics also. The day you leave that, I don't know about BCG. BCG is a small thing, but in general also that will affect you negatively a lot. So the only request for all those who are not able to secure a rank in intermediate but wish to get into BCG is that they must go on continuing extracurricular curricular activities, participate in ICI events, participate in external events, participate in whatever sports you like. Maybe you like some other extracurricular activities like performing arts, maybe drama, singing, dancing. It could be anything. So they put a lot of weightage on extracurricular activities. And by positions of responsibility, what I meant was you could be a part of the student council at your school. You could be a volunteer at the conferences which are conducted by ICAI. You could be one of the managing committee members of Vikasa, Sikasa, Ikasa, what the CASA committees basically. So all of that matters a lot. So focusing on them is what is entirely required to bust the myth that, only rankers can get into BCG.
Okay, and the ICI events, which are like, as per my thing, like they are quite underrated. People don't attend more, but if you tend
True,
to attend more and more in number, even I think it's myself because I have seen a change. I have made a lot of connections by going frequently into all these events and competitions. So it helps in the overall
true.
development in your personality.
Of course. Who doesn't know? Just to inform all of you guys, the person speaking right before me is a national winner of the pitch deck competition last year, which is one of the most prestigious events conducted by ICAI.
Yeah, thanks for the mention of this, by the way. Yeah. Now, I would
Yeah.
like to pose a last question. Like, we received this question. Okay, so what was your timeline? Like, when did you start applying for industrial training? Well, like, when आपकी आर्टिकलशिप कब खत्म हो रही थी? कब से आपने सर्च करना शुरू किया? And how people act upon this timeline? And what would you have to say to the fellow juniors who aspire to get into BCG or into management consulting? So, अभी आपका
Okay.
timeline कैसा था? And then the advice.
Got it. Got it. So to answer the first part of the question, what happens usually at BCG, as I mentioned, there are 2 6 monthly cycles. So industrial training at BCG looks thoda different. They hire very early. They hire at least 5 to 6 months early from the date of joining. So my hiring cycle started ideally around July last year, around the same time. And post that, there was, as I mentioned, 10 to 12 days ka gap in the resume shortlisting. I received the resume shortlist around second week of August. Post that, we had 25 days, and in the first week of September, my interviews were done, and I was shortlisted for PCG. So ideally, it happened approximately 6 months ago. A short timeline and a very far timeline before the completion of articleship, because ideally my articleship completed in March. So I had a gap of like 6 months. So, but ideally, what happens is only BCG is the place wherein they hire so early. But when it comes to other companies hiring for industrial trainees, so they don't hire so early. And usually, ideally, the timeline I would suggest for applying for industrial trainees is around 2 to 3 months before your articleship is getting completed. So ideally, for all those students who would have had cleared last year in May 2024, would have joined their articleship somewhere around July or August. So this should have had been the time wherein you guys should have been starting to move towards the industrial training in the most core manner. Like even if you start right now, this is not late, but ideally you should have had started somewhere around June. So ideally, there should be a gap of around 2 months from the date when your articleship is about to end to the date when you are beginning to look for industrial training opportunities. To answer the second part of the question, that is what advice I would give is, I guess I already mentioned very clearly that this is the one thing that I would suggest, that don't give up on extracurricular activities. And this is an advice not just for BCG guys. I mean, it is an advice in general which will help you not just to get into BCG, but in general also forward in future to develop your personality. Also, it will help you a lot. In fact, me myself, I'm participating in the national talent hunts right now, even after joining BCG. So this is something that you guys should never drop. And also, it's a great journey. Like, just to describe in 2, 3 lines, the past 2.5 months have been a roller coaster, a complete roller coaster, or even more than a roller coaster, I would call it a dare drop. It goes so high, suddenly it will drop so low. Again, it will slowly rise to the peak. Again, suddenly it will drop low. So it is going to be a dare drop tower. It is going to be a roller coaster, but this is a journey worth living, because all of us know the thrill that we get in the roller coaster or the airdrop tower, or the peaceful air brushing against us that we get during the roller coaster rides. The joy that we get post the end of that roller coaster ride is something that is uncomparable. And work for that. That is definitely a journey worth living.
Nice, great, Tara. Like you have summed up your entire experience in such a way that I was able to imagine each and everything that you were saying. So that really proved that you are a good orator. So congratulations
Thank you
for
so
that.
much, Rishte.